The eyes of truth are bright. The great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild. It's unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster anymore. We sit in the house and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller and all we say is please at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. Don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Who forgets their birthday? Also coming up on the broadcast, a religious leader has a message for the island's political leaders and a warning that there is to be a spiraling effect when the services component of the 2.5% levy comes into effect. A warning, and we'll be hearing more in just a moment. You're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you are listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM. My name is Timothy Poleon. Still to come, your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. It is a known fact that people do not like taxes. In the case of St. Lucia, too often governments have imposed taxes on the people of St. Lucia for a particular reason. To raise finances to address a particular matter, for example, the environmental levy of a few years ago, and also of late, the 2.5% health and security levy. That is, according to this administration, to improve the quality of health care and to improve security services. On the face of it, one can readily accept that there is need to pump more money into the health sector and also into law enforcement. But based on our experiences, and we have been around for a while now, we have had our experiences with various governments. We all know that governments are in office, and very often, even when they are on the opposition benches, they are on the hustings in a run-up to a general election, they make promises that they know that they cannot keep. And so we've been there before. And who is to say that we'll experience any major improvement in the quality of healthcare in St. Lucia over the next 2 years? Or we'll be a safer nation? But what the Prime Minister said when he was presenting his argument before the Parliament, making a case for the health and security levy, was that it would not be a tax that would be placed on food items. Increasingly, we are coming to the realization that that is not so. I don't know whether it's a case where he deliberately misled the people of this country, but there will be a domino effect whereby, for example, as far as services are concerned, you put the 2.5% on certain services and automatically people who are in the food sector will have to recoup those funds one way or the other. And this manifested itself just a few weeks ago when we got a flyer from KFC saying that its food items will be increasing. And so what the Prime Minister said turned out to be a terminological inexactitude. Chartered accountant Richard Pitterkin, just a few months ago, during an appearance on the Power 97.9 program, Threesome in the Morning, made a particular observation. It did not sit well with many people when he said that the 2.5% is negligible. It is next to nothing. And 2.5% on a refrigerator, 2.5% on a washing machine, 2.5% on a vehicle, just a few bucks, according to the gospel of Richard Pitterkin. So let's listen to the observation that he made and that clip that we played on this broadcast on the 29th of June, 2023.
As the ministry explained to us, it works like a VAT, but it is not VAT.
Okay.
It works like a VAT because it's going to be implemented on all goods and services, both imported and local, but with some significant exceptions, such as all food and medicine items, construction materials, and a few other things, which when they put out the actual legislation, we would understand. Now, it is a piece of legislation, so that has to be passed in the House. It's not just an amendment to the VAT Act. That is one of the significant differences. Another significant difference is in VAT, if you pay VAT, if you're registered for VAT, and I'm thinking more of businesses now, and you import something or you pay a service on which you pay VAT, you can offset that against the VAT that you have to pay on your goods, and that's called an input VAT tax credit.
As a business.
You're right. You cannot do that with this particular levy. This is a one-off levy, and so you cannot actually deduct it from the VAT that you're going to pay. And so we could see some problems because since it doesn't have to do with whether you're registered for VAT or not. It means that just about everybody in the country that is providing a good or service, so you no longer have the $400,000 exemption that you have under the VAT Act. That means everybody, unless they're selling food and medicine, etc., has to charge this levy. But how is the government going to collect it from all and sundry people that are not registered, people that may have small businesses in the country? That's a problem that I know they face. But at the end of the day, what it means, I'll give you an example. So you import something and it costs you, let's make it easy, $100. The 2.5% is added to the CIF value. So it costs you 100, you have to add the 2.5, so it's now 102.5. And if that good that you are importing is valuable, you now charge the VAT on that 102.5. So in effect, it's a bit compounded when you see how it works out. And that might increase the overall cost of purchasing items. But 12.5% of 2.5 is not a huge number. So in essence, what the ministry did was they gave us a very detailed indication of what entities, what types of goods and services would be subject to the VAT, and even to the point of giving us the tariff numbers so that people could check and see, all right, now I know, so when it comes in, I'll be ready. Obviously, there's going to be some paperwork that has to be sorted out, and they have between now and August 2nd to get that done. So it's designed to raise $3.2 million, and our conclusion was that if this money that it raised was used, explicitly for health and services, and particularly if it helped us to introduce a universal health care, or it helped us to improve our security services, it would probably be a reasonable trade-off because we're very concerned about health, we're very concerned about security. And if the government needs that extra money to do it, if they can guarantee that they will spend that money. So I asked the question, is it going to be in a lockbox, or is it going to be ring-fenced so they guarantee that that money will be spent? And the answer was no. It will just go into government's consolidated fund, but they felt that they needed that extra money. So, as to how true that is, we can't tell, because obviously we're in the private sector. But at the end of the day, it seemed to a lot of us it would have been simply easier to increase the VAT to 15%, which it was before, and people had got used to living with that. The reduction to 12.5 did not make a huge difference in basically the growth in the economy or the country as a whole. But they did not appear to want to do that for whatever reason. I don't know whether that was political or not. It remains to be seen. Fact is, they are going to do it from the 2nd of August. And, they're still having consultations with different stakeholders. And so people will get a lot more details, so they will be prepared and ready for it. People were a little concerned about the extra paperwork, but I guess that's part of living in this part of the world. The main point is that, in essence, it's not that. It's going to be added on to the price of goods and services. So another example, if I was selling a service here in St. Lucia and I was charging $100, I would now have to charge the 2.5.
Right.
It would be one or 2.5, and then VAT would be on top of that.
And that would be taxed, or like it would be on top of the 1 or 2.5.
Correct. So that's the one issue that some people had a concern about, because it tends to compound it and increase it. But it's 2.5%, so it doesn't increase it that much at the end of the day.
Yeah, but the people who low income folks, that's a big deal.
My friend, everybody is worried about low income folks, as I am. Mm-hmm. But what about the rest of us? There are more than one people in this country.
True.
And if you're in business and you have having a tight time, everything affects you. Mm-hmm. So this affects business as well. The question is, obviously people will adjust, they will reprice their items. It may have an impact on inflation. But at the end of the day, it's 2.5%. We're magnifying it beyond its potential to increase inflation. It really isn't that huge an impact as if you work it out. And so the big question to me is more the having the paperwork and so on that's going to be involved, and it's just another thing that people in business have to do and deal with and pay the government. It's bureaucratic that most people are concerned about, not so much the inflationary effect. It might inflate something, but if you're buying a fridge and it goes up by 2.5%, it's not the end of the world, is all I'm saying.
The accountant, Mr. Richard Pitterkin, speaking with Big Slim on Power 97.9's program, The Threesome in the Morning. And we played that clip, we reproduced it on the 29th of June on NewsSpin. He says it's really not that huge of an impact if you work it out. I remember it was just, a few months ago, maybe about a year ago, that the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antoine, made an appearance on a special DBS program which was hosted by Lisa Joseph, and basically advised the government that at some point in time it would have to increase VAT, because it was at 12.5%, saying just about the lowest in the Eastern Caribbean, and the government needed to do something about it. I never anticipated, in one shape or the other, one form or the other, that the government would have imposed a tax of 2.5% on the people of St. Lucia. I did not ask for it, but seeing there, so we might as well play the clip of the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank speaking to DBS's Lisa Joseph, and later we'll hear more with regard to the implications of that tax on the provision of services.
St. Lucia's VAT rate at 12.5%. We've heard persistently from Prime Minister Pierre that it is among the lowest, if not the lowest in the region. Of course, we know the resultant effect. Less revenue government is collecting from that mechanism. Should the VAT rate then be revised given the times that we're in?
I think it has to be looked at. It certainly is one of the lowest. I mean, most countries are at 15, some at 16, some even 17%. 12.5 is the lowest. But the tourism has always had a special rate. Some countries have it at 10%, maybe one or two at 8%. I think 10% in some countries. I think it has to be reviewed. The timing of the adjustment is to be looked at because, of course, we're in the middle of a challenge with inflation. So what is the right time to do that? But at the end of the day, you have to sustain yourself. I mean, you know, when you board an airplane and you are getting your instructions, they tell you in the event of an emergency, you have to put on your oxygen mask first, and then you help others nearby. The basic moral of that story, takeaway, is if the state is not in a position itself to take care of its basic operation, it can't help others. So you have to put your fiscal house in order. Whether that means raising revenue, cutting expenditure, or a combination of. And typically it's a combination that is required to get the appropriate adjustment. So I do think it needs to be reviewed and a determination made of what is the appropriate level. And if a determination is made to change it, what is the right time to make that change?
Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antoine, speaking with DBS's Lisa Joseph, I think a little over a year ago. So today the opposition convened a press conference and explains the implications of this 2.5% levy and some of the services that will be impacted.
Wireless communication services under the service component. So Digicel as well, they have sent out a letter to say that their prices on some of their commodities are going up. Yeah, and that is a direct result of the 2.5%. Their letter was very explicit and clear to their customers that while they want to maintain the quality and while they understand that people are going through pressures from the inflation situation afflicting our country, they cannot absorb the cost. So all of us will have to pay more for those services, Wi-Fi services, top-ups. It is not just on wireless communication, it's also on wired communication as well. So cable is also part of that. Motion picture, you go to the cinema, the government is going to tax you. I mean, could you believe that? You know, you have some kids and you're saying maybe there's going to be some extras for popcorn, and now they're going to tax you every single ticket. They're going to tax you, they're going to tax your child. The whole family will have to pay this tax going to the movies. This is really unconscionable on the part of this administration. This is the one that I want to read out to you and show you that you're not paying this 2.5% once. You're paying this 2.5% in a whole host of ways. So, sale of a motor vehicle, for example, is on schedule in Schedule 2, number 8, and it says so in the legislation. Now, in the case of a sale of a motor vehicle, you're paying 2.5% on the CIF price, the cost of insurance and freight, as it comes into the port. Then you pay 2.5% on that car to the broker, to clear that car for you and the brokerage services. Then you have to pay 2.5% for legal fees, as the lawyer writes the bill of sale, because now legal services are also attracting the 2.5%. On the 2.5% on the registration of the vehicle, you also have to pay that. You have to pay 2.5% on the license plate of the vehicle. So when you go through all the various ways, so we see you pay on the CIF price, you pay on the broker fees, you pay on the legal fees. When it comes to on the registration, on the license plate, You're paying 2.5% on the same item 5 times to 5 different service providers. So when you calculate all of these 2.5% at different cost of the services, this is almost another 12% that you're paying. So the government has really got to rethink this. I feel very strongly about this because this is going to really make an already bad situation as it relates to cost of living worse in this country. I go on. If you go to the document center, photocopying of documents and document preparation, right? For students and small businesses, you've got to pay this 2.5% on this service. Why is this necessary? Why couldn't the government take this out? All of the students doing their SBAs, all of the small businesses that are trying to do proposals and can't afford the printing at home will now have to confront this egregious and unconscionable piece of legislation. This is the one that really drives me. So, advertising. This one will come home to people like DBS in this room. So if I go to DBS or HTS or any of you TV stations here, and I have a funeral, and I want to put the death announcement on the funeral, I'm going to have to pay 2.5% while I grieve for my young one, for my loved one. Because the government is going to charge you, once you're battable, 2.5% on all of your advertising. If there's a crusade and a church wants to take an ad with you, they need to pay the 2.5%. If there's a fundraiser for medical reasons, they have to pay the 2.5%. What kind of legislation is this?
Deputy Political Leader of the Opposition United Workers' Party, Dominic Fede, speaking earlier today during a press conference. Let's open the lines right now to hear from you at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. We have a call in line. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello. Okay, well, as that call, let's see if we have a WhatsApp message to go through. I think the person is still on. Hello, good afternoon.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, sir.
Timothy, most of these laws, these taxes and these things, does these things goes to cabinet take a decision on these things before these things go and pass it in the House?
Well, they'll have to discuss it at cabinet, then take it to the parliament, and then the GG, the Governor General, has to give his assent to it.
Here, my reason for asking that, Timothy. We have how many? We have what? 15 ministers, 16 ministers. How many ministers we have?
15.
And Timothy, you were telling me that when that thing reaches cabinet, Timothy, 15 men and women sits there, Timothy, and nobody, none of these people cannot tell the leader, let's don't go that way.
I think you maybe have more than 15, eh?
Yeah, I guess because they are senators.
You have senators too, yeah.
Timothy, that thing Fede read there, when I look at that thing last week, I had the chance of getting a copy of that to look at that. Timothy, that is not anything easy, you know, Timothy. Timothy, 2.5 multiplied by 5 is what? That's 12.5, Timothy. And Timothy, you have another 12.5% VAT on that, Timothy. I mean, Timothy, what right-thinking government, what government that wants to see themselves go through another term in office, Timothy, that will be so hard-hearted to do that kind of thing, Timothy. Timothy, these guys just feel these guys know that's their one shot, and that will be it. And they want to reach in themselves and their friends and whatever they want to do. And what they do, just regardless that. Timothy, but Fede only tell you on death announcement, it's going to be on the funeral services too, at the funeral home. You know? Timothy, that even coming on tracking, you know. Timothy, that's going to affect people. When every time I call and I talk about these things, you know, when I pass it in Thomas, whoever that know my telephone number, calling me and telling me some fools, some party hack. But I tell them already, they will not prevent me from talking. Nobody will prevent me from talking because what that thing is not going to affect people like me, your age group and others. Our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, all these things going to be there to hunt them. You know, it's going to be there to hunt them, you know. When you're telling me, you're telling me somebody going to go out there to make a little hustle, right? because you have to go on and pay for your permit and all these kind of things to keep a little dance and all these things. When that 2.5 go on, that all these things will go up. Timothy, I'm going to bet with you that pretty soon, bus drivers going to be asking for another increase, because Timothy, that is coming on tires, that is coming on services, right? That is coming on the price of the vehicles, Timothy. Imagine a young person. That is why I tell you, I sit down there and I see so many young people, boy, for one day rush it and get their vehicle out of customs. That's coming on your CIF, the banker, the broker, the registration, the number plates, your legal fees, and all these kind of things, Timothy. And before that, you had that guy, you played that long clip from me, was saying that guy is just a small tax. It's just a small tax depending on how much you're spending, Timothy. Depending on how much you're spending. Timothy, that's going to affect people in all walks of life. Even the bakers, you see, they give that increase too. It is not just flour the bakers using. The bakers going to be calling for more money. St. Lucians, just brace yourself for that 2.5 in this guy's tax. You see, they're putting on us there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. WhatsApp message. I wonder if Mr. Pitterkin will sing a different tune if given a second chance. What's in the chat room as we say good afternoon to you, Kimani?
Good afternoon, Tim. Someone says, call it's like a domino effect across the nation. Another comment, Timothy, I've been asking to play The Plight of the Working Man. I think educators sang that St. Lucians can relate well to this song presently. Another comment in the chat room, someone says, not even the dead were spared. Someone says, many St. Lucians will never own a house or a car and most importantly save money. Too many taxes in this country. Another comment, the economic time bomb soon explode. Madness, how are people going to survive with all those additional taxes? Tim, this is roadside economics, no doubt. The PM, as usual, did not take time to do a thorough examination of the impact of that levy, and we saw it happen again lately with the Panama so-called private account. Too quick to jump. Someone says they will soon be taxing us to talk. Another comment in the chat room, it's always those with money who wants to say what will and won't affect the poor people of St. Lucia, SMH. In simplest terms, a levy is a tax. All this longer explanation is invalid, SMH. Someone says, just stop eating KFC. It's overpriced, preservative, death on a bone anyway. Someone is asking, what's the latest on the container of drugs? And another comment, just say it's a liar, Tim. No need for, terminological
inexactitude. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Mr. Tim.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm fine. The issue I have there, you see Colonel when you're going to Viewfort on the bridge, they need to trim that piece of bamboo that's on the bridge. That's really dangerous. I'm on that road every day and I'm seeing there can be an accident at any point of time on that bridge.
So why do you think people have been calling NewsSpin for the past maybe 2 or 3 weeks, complaining about this, alerting the authorities, and they are not doing anything about it?
Because you've seen the way it trim like this. When the container truck pass, that's what they're trimming it.
Right.
But every day I report and I seen the danger of it, honestly.
All right, here's hoping that the fact that you have called, in addition to the so many people who have called to alert the authorities, that finally they will see the necessity to address that issue.
Okay, my brother.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Yep. You're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you're listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM. What does Father Albert have to say to our politicians? All that and more still to come.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Viewfort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
First National Bank has the best deals on used vehicle loans. On Saturday, 30th September, visit us at the Derek Walcott Square from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Take advantage of our low interest rates, fast approval, and comfortable payment terms. Get free consultations with registered used car dealers, as well as our knowledgeable lending professionals. Special terms and conditions apply. Make it your Saturday line with First National Bank. Here for you.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From My Account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
KFC is taking you on a finger-licking journey down memory lane with our delicious throwback special. A mouth-watering leg and thigh combo with regular fries and a 16-ounce soda for only $15. That remind me of the good old days, boy. Available every Thursday. But wait, the thrill doesn't stop there. Tune in on Thursdays to win vouchers and stages tickets. Limited offers available in stores only. KFC, finger licking good.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
This year, you mean on top of all that thing, now I have to pay this new 2.5% health and security levy?
Boy, and all now so? We still paying 12.5% VAT, so 12.5 plus 2.5. Well, that is 15% and more.
Automotive Art is a place to start.
Can't get a break from all this tax? Head to Automotive Art and get a taxcation. Automotive Art is offering you an ease from VAT and health and safety levy with savings of up to 15% and more. That's right, 15% of all tools, 15% of all accessories, 15% of car detailing, 15% of all rims, 15% of computerized wheel alignment, and 15% and more of selected tires with savings of up to 30% on some sizes. It's Automotive Art Taxcation. Visit us at Automotive Art at Vidbutei Castries and Latuni Vieux today and enjoy a taxcation. Offer valid for limited time. Some conditions apply. See stores for details.
Get ready for the second annual Zouk a Blanc, presented to you by Project Chocolat. Saturday, 30th September from 7 p.m. featuring St. Lucia's #1 band, TYP. The always exciting Ezra, the Fun Machine, and our finest DJ, Hollywood HP, and DJ Shocking. Savor an evening of elegance, souk, and old school rhythms in the heart of Soufrière at Project Chocolat. Secure your tickets for just $80. Grab yours at any sell outlets island-wide or at Mambo's Bar in Soufrière. Tickets are also available online. Zouk a Blanc, a touch of white, where island vibes and cuisine meets pure sophistication.
admission, $100 at the door.
Are you working that 9-to-5 job but also juggling a side hustle? Well, Elks Credit Union has great news for you. Introducing Elks Credit Union Side Hustle Boost Loan. Need funds to take your side hustle to the next level? With our Side Hustle Boost Loan, you can access up to $50,000, giving your side hustle the boost it needs. And here's the best part. You'll have up to 5 years to pay back with flexible repayment options that suits your budget. Whether it's expanding your inventory, upgrading your equipment, or marketing your services, Elks Credit Union is here to support your entrepreneurial dreams. Don't let your side hustle remain just a dream. Let Elks Credit Union empower you to turn it into a thriving reality. Boost your side hustle today with Elks Credit Union's Side Hustle Boost Loan. Contact us now or visit our website for more information. Elks Credit Union, your partner in success. Terms and conditions apply.
Group of workers who might be able to cope with the 2.5% levy. Management of the IGY Rodney Bay Marina and the leadership of the National Workers Union have established a new industrial agreement. The document makes provisions for a regime of fringe benefits inclusive of a 10.5% general wage increase, a height bonus, and paternity leave. The new contract will run for a period of 3 years and will benefit all workers employed with the company, which operates out of the Rodney Bay Marina. This is the first cruise tourism industrial accord between the company and the National Workers Union. Arrangements for the official signing are being finalized by the company, the union, and the Department of Labor. Meanwhile, the Secretary General of the NWU has disclosed that the union has submitted its memorandum of proposals to the management of a Chasney resort based in Soufrière. So imagine you're also getting, can I hear that? A height bonus. Does that mean I don't qualify? So there is a 10% general wage increase, a height bonus, and paternity leave. Anyway, continue with your calls. 452-2979. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026. 716-2026. In the chat room, Kimani.
In the chat room, someone says they're waiting for a disaster on that bridge before they address the situation. Another comment, Tim, St. Lucians don't like to pay taxes, yet they still put SLP in power. So what you vote for is what you're getting. I feel sorry for all single parents. Someone says roadside economics are better than anything this PM has done because those little roadside shops never go bankrupt. Someone says legally only VAT registered companies should be charging VAT and display their VAT registration numbers on invoices and receipts. But for the unregistered business people to survive, they need to increase their products to buy the increased cost of living. The food vendor can only go to Massey by charging more for their fig and dasheen. Someone says no one protested about the tax being raised. Another comment in the chat room. Haha, Tim, you are funny. Let's see. That's it, I believe.
452-2979. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026. 716-2026. This lady is still on this honey issue. She says, Tim, in all fairness, I honestly wasn't aware that honey wasn't allowed into the country. But as this unfolds, I found out that there are others who had more than the bottle I had to use for medicine. Other people, they were able to have theirs to sell. Now that's way more than the one bottle. So customs officers and agriculture, it's fine. We all got our friends in high places. So some people are really taking certain things to heart because it's very costly. Honey is very expensive. And it is, on occasions, it can be rare as well.
I think you need to buy a bottle, Tim, honestly.
Why?
I think so.
Why do I need to buy a bottle?
Because she lost her bottle, Tim.
That's why I should buy a bottle as well?
Out of the goodness of your heart, Tim.
Okay. Somebody says that the authorities said they will investigate the Chinese workers' work permits. Tim, like, seriously, who them people think they are fooling? Shaking my head. And many of you would have seen the videos of... some Asian nationals. They were in a brawl, I think, somewhere in Vieux-Fort, over the weekend. There are lots of memes as well. Another WhatsApp message, only time will tell what will become of St. Lucia with all these hidden taxes that the Prime Minister and his mongoose gang have imposed on the unsuspecting supporters and St. Lucians by extension. Clueless, worthless, shameless, SLP. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. WhatsApp message, somebody says, Tim, the PI bridge is completed already, and yet they leave the speed bump on the road. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. I may be wrong, but isn't it against the law to be making coals or anything which generates smoke in a residential area? I think that is what the previous administration was trying to address a few years ago when it implemented a tax on people who wanted to engage in activities involving, making coals in residential areas and so on. Certain safeguards would have been put in place, but we all know how this one played out. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Good afternoon to you, caller. Where are you calling from?
How are you? I'm calling Ontario.
Okay, I'm okay. How about you?
I'm doing good. I've been following your program. I've been trying to get, but it's hard to get through. Last night I was trying to get with the Reverend Albert on your program, but it was also hard.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were speaking and outlining what the church supposed to do and to be in society, I really wanted to question him and let him know that what he's saying, that is not outlived. It probably it's written in the church belief or doctrine, but the church do not practice that, because especially in a time like this, when I listen and I follow and things are not that good with families, the prices at the groceries up, what is the church? What is the role of the church in this time? What is the church saying to the government to bring us relief to the people? I don't hear the church coming out and saying nothing. I don't hear the church calling out on the government. I don't hear the church calling out a protest, to come together and say something to the government, because families are hurting. People mentally are suffering mentally. So many things are happening because of, there is not employment. People have to, and here comes another levy on the 12%, 12.5% that they have to pay. In Ontario, we pay 13% tax on clothing, on groceries, and electronics. And I heard that whoever on your show, you read something that whoever governor said that, that they're paying the lowest in taxes. You tax your people if you give them employment, if you give them some. How can you tax somebody for with something and they don't have a means, they don't have a way of making it? If I don't have already, and you're taking from me, where are you leading me? You are leading me to go mentally, you are leading me to go rob, to do so many things to give you what I don't have. And people must realize that people have to eat, and that's why I am calling on the church, because the church has not played a role. I am sure if the government of St. Lucia should say, like it's going on in North America and here now, that they're going to give the children a choice in the school to determine what sex they are, whether they are female, he, she, transgender, whatever. The church will come out and protest, or you'll hear the pastors, the priests on the radio, the archbishop, that it is wrong. If the government will say, okay, gay people can marry, and you will hear the church, you'll hear all the bishops, all the pastors, Seventh-day Pentecostal on the airwaves, your program, you will have so many of them there. But people are suffering, people have hardship, people are going through, and you do not hear their voice. Their voices are silent. And that's why I wanted to, interact with Reverend Albert, because if it is in the books of the church, it is not lived, because people don't sense that, people don't see it. And I keep on saying, that the church, because I'm deep in the church and I believe in God, that the church have been letting the people down, because they need, if most times we say the voice of the people is the voice of God, I need to hear the voice of the people that the government will hear the voice of God in the land, you know.
But you can
there's so
only
many things that are going.
you'll be able to speak with Father Albert this evening because he has a show on Power 97.9, this radio station, and that is from 6:30 this evening, and it goes on until 8 o'clock.
Don't worry, I know how to get with him. I know him good.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wanted, because if that's what the church believe, it's not believed. Where's the voice of the people? Where's the church? I don't hear the voice. All they talk about is the crime and this. But so many things. If you listen to what's going on in the country, like the soul of the nation is sold. There is something on social media about some guy said he did something for the government to win the election, whatever. Have you heard the pastors come and say anything about that? I'm waiting to hear Pastor Ben on that because he was the one that had whatever going on, where he was on your show promoting his thing about crime. But if these things are happening at the top, it's not that those young men, that they keep on targeting the young men, crime. But what about those in leadership? If this thing is for true, and I have not heard a response from the person that they put for this thing to about this was done, coffin was done, this person has said nothing. This is the time for the pastors, the priests, to call on those ministers, call on the leadership. Because if the leadership is selling the country, then no doubt that the devil is going to make a rampage in crime that will never stop. And I want Pastor Ben to know, I know him good. If the soul of the nation is being sold, there is no way he can go, everyone pray. Nothing will change. He must first address the leadership, then go down to those young men on the street. And that's why they're afraid. And the pastors, I am telling them, don't be afraid to speak because of favors, because the government will give them, duty-free concession. They want to drive a nice car. Don't sell their soul. Don't let the people perish. Their congregation, they are suffering as well. There are persons in the congregation now that are going through those pains and suffering. Speak on behalf of their congregation. Say something that the government will hear their voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling all the way from Canada. Another call. This is NewsSpin. Hello. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay, caller.
Yeah, Tim, I just want to make a short comment there. Last night you had your guest on the show.
Father Albert.
And he said something about, we carrying Christianity for 4 days, 5 days a week, and we pack it aside and so on. And
what he was saying is that people tend to be more religious over the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, they go to church.
Yes,
and during the week, forget about being godly.
Christians. And that's where we should be Christians, okay? During the week. For when we go out in our workplace, we go different places and we hear, people talking nonsense, like on some of those talk shows, talking nonsense, to come out and condemn and speak about the things, the ills that's going on in the country, and all these type of things. Now, a gentleman just called you there from the States again.
From Canada.
From whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been saying the same thing. From the start, I'm not going to condone crime, never. But crime, just imagine, Tim, you wake up on mornings, and you see 3 of your kids there. You don't have nothing to give them. No bread, nothing. You can imagine that? When it's 12 o'clock, you, Tim, can even stay without lunch. But some of these people stay days, cannot give their children bread. What's going to come to your mind?
Because the priest said that there's a lot of poverty in St. Lucia, and I don't doubt him. I mean, once in a while I come across people who are in that particular situation.
Not once in a, saying without contradiction, not once in a while. You know what I was saying a while ago? The few people I help, now I have to add 7.5% on it because it's going to be triple hard on them. If I used to give them 25 cents, when they go to the store, the thing will cost more than the thing they used to buy 25 cents, will not cost 25 cents. It will cost maybe 40 cents. So now I will have to say, no, the 25 cents will not buy that bread. I'll have to give them an extra 15 cents and so on. So that's where the poor people are getting hit. And we don't care about that. We don't seem to care. And when they go and join gang, I can never support crime. But if it's just where these people see they can get help from, they are going to go there. And I always say from the start, we Christians have been too quiet. We compromise. We look for favors from people in authority. Let me tell you, the UN is going on there now. They got a guy from Iran they call Rashi, whatever his name is. You know, that guy in Iran, the people that have freedom, the press is being arrested every day, put to jail. You go and demonstrate, jail, everything. People are being killed, murdered by politicians and so on. But to hear this guy speak at the UN about human rights, about this, about that, you will never say this guy is the one in Iran, the president, doing all these criminal, these unhuman things to human beings. You know, but as your caller said some time ago, Moki Day by Bondi, the people are fighting, being killed, they cannot come that way and all these type of things. But they have their time coming. If human being and the laws God put there cannot do nothing with them, they themselves are compromising, God have a way taking over, and their time will come. You see, the Bible says that these people honor me with the mouth. They say nice things, but their heart is far from me. And the Bible says, in vain they do worship me, teaching and doing what? The doctrine of man. And I'm warning us in St. Lucia and around the world, there's a day coming when these things are going to stop. Have we ever sit down for a while and think about the decision and the things we do now? What will become of our children? Our children will be paying for these type of things. If I go and take a loan for myself or for something, and then, you know, down the road, I have 100 years to pay that. I won't be there 100 years to pay it. My children will have to pay it. So we don't care about our children. We say we love them. What type of love is that? Just more love from the mouth and for people to see that they think we love our children. We don't love our children. We don't love our country. Okay, Tim?
All right.
Take care, man. You're on your guest. I didn't even tell you all good afternoon. Sorry.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for calling all the way from the South, Brother Harris. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026. Somebody says there, do you know that the church taxes its followers 10% of their savings? So the church is worse than the government. We have a call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, good afternoon, Rick.
That was a pretty interesting show you had last night.
With Father Albert.
With Father Albert, yeah.
Interesting. That does not explain anything, you know. Does not really describe the show. Interesting.
I'm proud of you, Tim. I'm proud of you, boy. I'm proud of you that you
just like the wood, unfortunate.
Quite good. You've gotten quite good about skinning those words.
Interesting, huh?
Tim, allow me to perhaps make my point via a couple of questions. What would you say was the biggest point that Father Albert made last night that was almost repetitive?
About unity, loving each other. For me, that was it.
Well, I would choose to say rather that it was when he kept saying the people have turned away from God. Remember that?
That also, yes.
It was the big umbrella, and the other little parts fitted under it, the love, etc., etc. And I kept on thinking to myself, you know, allow me to ask another question. What would you say, because he's different, his image is different and so on. What would you say has made Father Albert so popular?
Because he's speaking the language of the people. Because he's representing their interest. He's focusing on things that are of importance to the people.
Can you think of one thing that stands out?
When, for example, he says things like people are hypocrites. I mean, that's something that people identify with, whether you yourself are a hypocrite or not as a person. but you see that character trait in other people.
All right, let me be more specific. You know what stands out for me? Listening to Father Albert say from his pulpit in Soufriere, a story about a young couple who were building their home. Do you know that story?
No, I don't.
I remember.
Does Kim know that story?
I remember. I think he was saying something along the lines of, and they were preventing them from being able to build it, something of that sort.
Who's they? Who's they?
I think people in the community.
But how are they doing that?
I think he said through a natural means.
Kim, come on.
Other worldly things.
Yes.
Okay.
Obia.
Yeah.
Kim. You see how long it took Kim to get there? That people were stopping them from building their home. No. What he said was people were evil. And that young couple were building their home and bam, it stopped. And it's because they did them mal, Obia, and whatever. What year are we living into?
2023.
2023.
So we don't have Obia, no pani mana sedlisi?
Well, let us say, when you talk that kind of stuff, you are in tune with primitive times, and I have never seen any evidence of Bolam or Obia, Femunmal. I've never seen any of those things. And while I'm not seeing those things, I'm seeing other very tangible things. Like perhaps the people ran broke. Perhaps the bank would not do them anymore. Perhaps there are all kinds of other reasons than Femal and Obia. Because I keep thinking if Obia was so potent.
But that is not your line. That is not your line of expertise, Rick. That's not for you to see.
Oh, it's not my line of expertise, but it's my line to investigate stupidity. I don't call it stupidity. I examine things. I have the feeling, Tim, and has my faith, that if there was such a thing as Obia and it was as potent and easily accessible as we have come to believe over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That there be no people in the poor in the country, that they would find ways of forcing Massey to bring down the prices. They would find ways to get the government to behave as they want the government. Because power, power, power. And the citadel of Obia and everything is where? In the region.
Haiti?
Haiti is because Haiti's situation has been brought about by physical worldly things and worldly activities, whether they were conned by the Americans or whether they themselves were too gangs or too corrupt. All the troubles of Haiti are identifiable, but they are famous among Caribbean people especially for having a particular brand of potent voodoo that can make you win elections and all that kind of stuff. And I got a little word when I hear a man of God suggesting, because that's what he's suggesting in his own way, that when he goes into the Obia trait and whatever, what he is suggesting is that evil is overpowering good. At the moment, he's essentially suggesting evil is overpowering good. Am I right?
Yes, about yes. Or he's saying, as much as there is good, there is evil.
Well, yeah, I went further than that, because if he says we are catching the people who can't eat, etc., etc., he was talking tangible and real things, that people come to him hungry, I don't know what to do, Father, and etc., etc. He talked about all of that, but I have never heard him demanding that the government start some soup kitchens. I've never heard him demanding that perhaps the private sector could take turns feeding a home, one of the homes.
But I hope you take the opportunity to call him on that subject this evening, huh?
I have tried when I was doing talk, and he was in his new blossoming phase. I asked him twice. In fact, people were asking me to bring him on the show, and I asked him twice. Unfortunately, his diary was full. So
okay.
You have that over here. You can get these guys.
But I'm saying you could call him on his show this evening on this radio station.
I could have called last night too, but I don't like to disturb the hymns. I leave it for other people, and I heard some pretty hysterical religionists last night, but I don't want to put them down.
Yeah.
Now, you know, there are realities that we face, Tim. And I know the scriptures well, even though I am not a religionist. And one of the things that strikes me from the scriptures is that God imbued us with everything we would possibly need for life in this world. Ask any person who believes in the Bible and God, and they will tell you that is true. They won't quote it. God has, from birth, given us, imbued us with everything we will need. Well, we start off perhaps by not taking care of our health. We start off by parents bringing into this world by virtue of how they themselves have lived. People who are impaired in their brain and all that kind of stuff, taking dope or no. You have two parents, heavy drug addicts. What do you expect them to produce? Or they don't send them to school. Our problems are all man-made, Tim, and all our problems can be cured by man. I firmly believe that, and that belief is in tune with what the scripture is saying. The scripture effectively requires believers to thank God every time they get up in the morning for giving them another day, and to live according to God, the commandments and so on. It doesn't talk about how to get food to eat. It doesn't talk, you know this whole story about the sparrows? You can interpret that. If I take care of the sparrows, in other words, He imbued the sparrows to go and get their seeds wherever they get their seeds, much less you.
Yeah.
So we have everything to be successful, to live okay, etc. If we are not, then somebody is responsible. And if we're going to pretend that we don't know who are largely responsible for the state of a country, and we prefer instead to put it on Bolams and Obia, then we deserve what we're getting. Deserve what we're getting. And having said that, I also want to point out there have been priests from Father John, Reginald John, right?
Yeah.
Who was way before Father Albert and was way more telling. Older people will realize that.
And radical.
Father Albert. You know who were the first to turn on him? His own fellow priests turned on him. The government of the day gave him a hard time. And I have to say, even in more recent times, every time a priest or a couple of priests have started to move in with the people and try to do it, they get crushed. Just think about priests who at the time were complaining about abortion bill, or at least their men. Remember how much trouble there was for some priests?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You can go to Hansard and find how many times prime ministers have told the church, in fact, to mind your own business. There is one instance that should be unforgettable when the government of the day planned to introduce gaming in St. Lucia.
I referenced it last evening. Mm-hmm.
Pardon?
I referenced that incident last evening on Newsmaker.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
And it was John Compton. John Compton advised the priest and his gang and his entourage, to go and pray for the weekend. And he will pray for the weekend for God's guidance as well. And come see him on Monday. And when they came and they gave them the God line, Compton said, well, God told him to let the priest take care of the people's souls, and he will take care of the people's bellies. That's his job, and do your job. That was Compton. But that was nice by comparison to the kind of names that Father Clovis was called from Parliament, and that is in Hansard for future generations to see him. The things that was said about Father Clovis, no matter how you feel about Father Clovis, it was wrong to have talked about Father Clovis. There's another priest, he believes in Bolams, by the way. I think he wrote a book on Bolams. Father Lambert Simrose. You know how his history with politicians, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it goes on. So the church, when it makes a move to join with the people quickly get the same treatment the people get from politicians. So they decide, you remember the Christian Council, Tim? You asked him about the Christian Council without doing any little history about the Christian Council for the younger people who may never have heard of Christian Council. He said the Christian
I think
Council,
it was a caller who posed a question to him regarding the Christian Council. Yeah.
To my surprise, he said the Christian Council still exists. But you remember a time when the Christian Council was way up front.
Yeah, very much so.
Always in the news trying something or other.
And I don't even think all the churches are members of the Christian Council right now.
So when he talks about the people deserting God and whatever, first of all, God's agents seem to have deserted him. You know, it's a very interesting story, this matter of church and state separation, or these professional God agents. I thought of Pastor Ben last night, my friend and yours. You know, these God's agents, it was very interesting when the priest gave a very good accounting of the lands he has. Just like the Vatican is perhaps one of the richest places there is on earth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And more people are asking themselves questions about that the church is rich. Why, I don't know, and I may be wrong on that, why does not the church have at least 3 days of soup kitchens based on the lands they have or whatever? And he was saying that the people who give the lands give it to build church. Already when he says that, I ask myself, why would anybody have a bunch of land? And when that person dies, rather than give it to relatives, or if no relatives, put it to some youth, etc., they would give it to them for another church, when the church collectively has had no real impact on the day-to-day lives of people, except to encourage them to believe in belief, faith, and bolums and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't call you last night, and that's why I will not call the priest, because it's nothing against the priest per se. It is religion generally that does not deliver what it purports to deliver, that in fact it stands very often in the way of people making their way, because God, like I said, if you're a believer, you have to believe that God put you on this earth with everything you will need for survival until you die. And it's for you to go and, here's the fruit, go and pick it. Here's the seed, go and plant it. Don't expect God to plant the seed for you. And don't expect God to cut the grass. God has given you all those things. Go and do what you have to do. You know where I'm coming from? But it's so easy to blame all our problems on voodoo, on church, on novena, on giving the priest money, on listening to the priest tell you, well, he can't sell the land for charity because it's given to put another church on, as if we need more churches in Castries or wherever. And all the land that we know the church has, how many churches we're going to have? One on every corner? You know? So that whole church religion thing is another aspect of the politics of this country, Tim. And it should be so treated. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Still, let's hear from Father Albert speaking during an appearance on DBS's Newsmaker Live, a message to the island's political leaders, the politicians among us.
I would really want to say to our political leaders, put St. Lucia first. Love one another as Christ has loved you. We're all different. And, you know, not everyone would support yellow or not everyone would support red. But there needs to be a level of respect for each other. A level where we regard each other as a child of God and respect that person. So we don't go, you know, slandering people left, right, and center, disregard for people. But let us respect, respect each other, love each other. Because, one of the things, and I was reflecting earlier this afternoon, many of our politicians are Christians. They either go to the Catholic Church, they go to the Adventist Church, or whatever. I know a number of them who are Catholics, a number of them who are Adventists, why don't we carry on the gospel values into our political life?
Father Albert, during an appearance on DBS's Newsmaker Live last evening, and don't forget to tune in to this radio station, Power 97.9, this evening from 6:30, and he'll be hosting his program, What's Your Point, at 6:30 this evening, right here on Power 97.9 FM. You're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you're listening on Power 97.9. Still to come, who forgets their birthday?
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
To protect appliances from lightning, rain, and flood water damage, unplug them, then turn off the main switch. Lightning can produce electrical surges which can damage equipment. Protect your electronics from water damage as well. Make sure you have flashlights, battery-powered radios, and extra fresh batteries available. Be smart, stay safe.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese, and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400
Or visit our website, kfcslu.com.
or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date. This and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Automotive art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive art, bigger and better.
Art is a place to start.
After a 3-year hiatus due to restrictions of COVID-19, the Sufra Fitness Center presents Fun Strikes 2023, our annual fan, health and fitness walk for the entire family. On Monday, October 2nd, starting at 5 a.m., we walk from the Sufra waterfront to Myers Bridge through Force Jack and back down to the Sufra Beach Park. Of course, the music motivation truck will keep you going and going. A $35 registration gives you a quality Drip Fit t-shirt, drinks, fruits, fresh coconuts, breakfast, and a chance to win big. What are you waiting for? Register, start, and finish to win over $10,000 worth of cash and raffle prizes. Register at the Sufra Fitness Center and other pop-up locations. Bring the entire family. Fun Strides 2023.
Are you working that 9-to-5 job but also juggling a side hustle? Well, Elks Credit Union has great news for you. Introducing Elks Credit Union's Side Hustle Boost Loan. Need funds to take your side hustle to the next level? With our Side Hustle Boost Loan, you can access up to $50,000, giving your side hustle the boost it needs. And here's the best part. You'll have up to 5 years to pay it back with flexible repayment options that suits your budget. Whether it's expanding your inventory, upgrading your equipment, or marketing your services, Elks Credit Union is here to support your entrepreneurial dreams. Don't let your side hustle remain just a dream. Let Elks Credit Union empower you to turn it into a thriving reality. Boost your side hustle today with Elks Credit Union's Side Hustle Boost Loan. Contact us now or visit our website for more information. Elks Credit Union, your partner in success. Terms and conditions apply.
Gave me these surprises. I love good movies. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your effort. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for remembering my birthday. Sometimes I forget it myself. So I will not be home, but if you're home, I'm sure I'll be with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Prime Minister speaking earlier this week as there was a special activity in commemoration of his birthday and thanking those people who organized that activity in his honor with his 3-layered cake there and saying that sometimes he forgets his birthday. Do you ever forget your birthday, Kimani? Because I don't. I never forget my birthday.
I don't. I've never forgotten my birthday.
Okay. What's in the chat room, Kimani?
Someone says, if the PM forgot his birthday is because he is too interested in putting the people first, kudos to our PM. Another comment, we live in a society where we pray morning and evening and we do evil during the day. Someone says, voodoo is our culture, but Bamba Mall is our culture. What else? These doing the voodoo should do something to bring down the high prices. How about that? Another comment, it's their choice, Rick, their property. To them, the church offered value, whether you believe in their religion or not. Rick, respectfully, I prefer when you speak about politics. LOL. Someone says, we praise, worship, honor, and obey a God we don't see, but we say he exists. It's the same way you don't see Obia, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Another comment, that was from Sir John, who told the priest to look after the people's souls, and he will look after their bellies. Crime alone, Pastor Ben, speaking about nothing else. Someone says, I need a debate between Father Albert and Pastor Ben. Ringside seat for me. Another comment, yes, caller, like our housing minister going to meetings at the UN, but while at home calling those who express their views enemies of the state. Someone says, exactly, caller, they have a nice speech, but their hearts are dry bones. Father Albert is a unicorn amongst the religious leaders because he doesn't mince his words. He humanizes himself so the people can identify with him, and he shows up genuine regardless of what his critics say. Rick, you don't have to believe in it, but it is true. Someone says, we have an economy on the rebound. Not all will agree because we allow color to obscure our vision. Give PJP his dues. When the history books are written, only then will we appreciate the works of great men. Still in the chat room, someone says, suggestion for Tim, you could have a show on African culture, ideologies or religion, spirituality, and local folklore. Invite Monsignor Patrick Anthony and others who may have knowledge on these subject matters. Kele in St. Lucia could be discussed as well as it is St. Lucian history. That is it, Tim, in the chat room.
Thank you so much. A WhatsApp message. I called another talk show this morning lamenting that the tax regime in St. Lucia is oppressive, and the host took offense and cut off the caller after saying that it was not. Imagine the audacity of that host saying that because, an example, other countries in the Caribbean like Antigua and Barbuda who have VAT do not pay PAYE tax. Government is taxing our citizens and residents into poverty so that they can come back and beg them for a step grass cutting gig. All right, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay, caller.
Other people have to call, but just give me 2 more minutes there, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to talk to the people and Rick. Rick said there is no evil, you don't believe in evil, and so on. I want to tell Rick, don't let that devil fool you. There is good, there is evil. He said like that, why evil is overtaking good. It would look like evil is overtaking good, but it's not. You see, God said it's laid before us, good and evil. And he tells us like that to choose good that we may live. He is right when he said that God have given man everything. Yes, God have given us everything that we may live a happy and a peaceful life. But because of man selfishness, man pride, man hatred, man jealousy, that's why the world is in that state today. We think about ourselves only. But evil is not going to take control all the time, so to speak. There's a day coming. Because let me tell the world, when God cast out Satan, he didn't strip him of the power he had. He cast it down, but God has more power than him. That's why God asks us to choose. Tim, if you're in a position, especially in authority, and you see that that thing is not good to do, and you listen to God's word will tell you straight is not good to do. You have to choose between who you're going to listen to. Are you going to listen to the devil, which will tell you, oh man, don't listen to these people. These people are nothing. They are poor. Or you will listen to God, who said, man, to help your fellow servant. What he said there about the hunger, people getting hungry. The church, that's why I'm really blaming us. The church has a lot to do in doing God's will. And that's why God's name is being like a reproach to some people. Because God asks us, his children, to go out there to help the helpless. Be the mouth of those people that cannot help themselves. Love each other as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. But people are not doing that. We are going the fast and evil and easy way than to do all sorts of wickedness, go to Satan and get power. Satan has power. He told God, if you will make this stone turn into bread, I will give you this. If you bow down before me, I'll give you this. Because he is controlling those things. And Rick must understand that. And one thing I heard he say that, somebody said that, you know, people go to church and so on, they are Christian. Tim, don't let nobody fool you, neither that stupid devil. Okay, he's stupid when you have Christ in you. Not everybody that goes to church that a Christian. The devil himself goes to church. The devil goes to church. The devil is in the midst of God's people. That's what the Bible says. So when you have people saying about everybody that's going to church and so on, and as I'm about to close because there are many people I want to call, Tim, if we Christians were doing as the Bible says, because we are God's ambassador, we are God's servants, if we are doing what God asks us to do as his people, there will not be all this chaos. There will not be all these disturbance in St. Lucia. But what we especially the leaders, the pastors, the evangelists like myself have done. We have forgot about God. We have put God aside and we have gone after our own eagerness, our own ego. And that's why the name of God is being blasphemed in the midst of people out there. And I hope the pastors and Christians are listening to me. It's because of us. This is why God has to judge Christians first. Okay, Tim, thanks very much for giving me that time again.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there, Tim, I live right next to where the Chinese residents reside. Since the incident, the Chinese population has been reduced by less than 75% and was told they were shipped out of St. Lucia. My question is, did they ever have a work permit? How did they enter without a work permit? I smell corruption, and the authorities, they must be questioned. The person goes on to say, tell Rick life was better when the church was in control. Please don't tell me about church leaders molesting. There is worse happening today, and they're asking the church to play their part. Hypocrites. Another WhatsApp message, the Prime Minister's birthday cake was yellow. We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. TW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, we are between a rock and a hard place, Timothy. Timothy, do you know the price of property, land, rent in St. Lucia? And the government is pounding a 2.5 levy at the citizens of this country, Timothy. I want to know, Timothy, what is the latest statistics? The margin between the rich, the middle class, and the poor. And I know that if a survey is carried out, Timothy, the margin will increase. There are going to be a lot of rich people, but no middle class, but very poor people in this country, Timothy. On the appointment of this particular government, the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party, they came into office, they worked immediately on the legalization of marijuana, Timothy. Then the facility fees at the schools, Timothy, the seaports and airports, you know, being leased, Timothy, and the universal health care, Timothy. They gave us that in a piecemeal. We all know that, Timothy. The government dealt with all of these issues, Timothy, but they didn't deal with one of the most important issues to my heart, is the livable wage, or the low wages that we get for our labor in St. Lucia, Timothy. Who is to be blamed, Timothy, for the livable wage not being in the labor code the last time it was legislated, Timothy? Who is to be blamed? The politicians, they had to put it in, but they did not put it in, Timothy. I don't blame Mr. Peter King when he comes and he say it's just, you know, it's just 2.5 is just so little, you know, we can deal with it. He's a businessman, so he can say that. So many levies, environmental levy, very soon, you know what? The government will try to implement on us the climate change levy. It's coming, you know, Timothy. Timothy, too many taxes, too many levies for particular purposes. And Timothy, I'm seeing very little improvement or no improvement. This levy is not going into a lockbox, but it's going into the consolidated fund. Timothy, I'm telling you, it will be lost there, and we will not reap the benefit for security and health in this country. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much. The histrionics of PW. You know, drama. Okay, but anyway, we appreciate all our calls. Let me turn my attention now to our NewsSpin news of the day. Venezuela takes control of gang-run prison that had pool and a disco. Venezuela takes control of gang-run prison that had pool and a disco. And also our question of the day, and you have been responding to those questions via our NewsSpin Facebook page. What is the ideal living wage and why? Some people have suggested $10 an hour. Question of the day, what is the ideal living wage and why? Any final comments in the chat room, Kimani? Not many?
We have a few comments. Someone says, I'm more interested in learning about those monies that... Someone says, there's duality in everything. That is the foundation of any living thing. And as usual, everyone is, well, most persons are giving you heat for the way your face changes when
PW comes on. Because I know the histrionics, you know, the good afternoon, the PW, and the drama.
Everyone from Barnard Hill.
Anyway, but on a serious note, we do appreciate all our callers. It is what that makes NewsSpin quite unique and the most monitored talk show in the world. Thank you so much for watching on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as on YouTube, and thank you so much for listening on Power 97.9 FM. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.